economic start. This natural expansion just now about to pop.
A little bit of scouting here by the Adept. Going to be very hard to kill without any speed upgrade on these Lings. It's going to continue to try to shade in.
And following it up, he will not complete.
Would have been a pretty fast death right there. Twilight on the way. Still not 100% sure what Trap wants to do with this game, but while this game slows down for a minute, I have to share a little story of my morning.
What happened to you this morning, Artosis?
I went in, like, my office is on the fringe of my house, and my house has, like, lots of windows, and there isn't floor heating under my office's room, so I have a space heater that I've had for years and years and years, because I like to be warm. And so I turned it on this morning, and I was about to turn around and leave that that office area to take the dog out, and so it had been like 10 minutes before I got back, but my space heater caught on fire. Like, immediately. Like, it just, I like, turned it on, I turned, my daughter was there, I was like, hey, what are you doing? And then I was like, what is this? There's like smoke, and I looked down, and there were flames coming out of it. So I turned it off and threw it away. I don't know if it was like from dust that was in it or the thing itself. I don't care what it was, but like, that's kind of scary.
Wow. Maybe,
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually very scary.
Yeah.
I worry about, like leaving my floor heating on when I go out.
Floor heating's fine.
Okay.
You're fine with floor heating.
Yeah.
Space heater is something else altogether. But anyways, yeah.
I could still worry about it, Artosis.
I guess you could worry about all the problems in the whole world, Rapid, but I don't think it'll be good for you.
That is very true. You know what is good for me, Artosis?
What?
Well,
StarCraft? Vitamins? What?
I mean, all of the above, really. There's actually just so many good things. Most esports related, but that's just because I'm also simultaneously a giant nerd, which is also super good for me.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Being a nerd is good for you.
All right, well, it's scientifically proven. We're about to scientifically prove how many Zerglings it takes to kill an Adept. There's enough to surround it, but don't want to deal with quite the DPS that's about to get put out there. So pulling back those Zerglings and unscouted double Stargates.
You know, the way that Adepts shade and they do this little slide while they're walking during the shade animation, it makes me think they would be amazing K-pop dancers together.
Well, I was going to say, eventually in the future, Adepts just actually have the next K-pop band. So that's hidden. I wonder which one of those Adepts is G-Dragon. Future G-Dragon.
Well, he's going to have to get a lot of kills for that, right?
Well, actually, the Adepts actually have that sick new skin, which is just basically a recolor, but it makes them look like twice as cool.
Yeah.
Maybe that's those.
I play with all the skins, Sean. I love
Oh
them.
my god, you're so cool, Artosis.
You do not be playing with the Total Biscuit voice.
You have like the Guy Fieri stalkers with the spiky frosted tips.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Nice.
Only the Marauder skin is bad, actually.
That's
like,
true. It actually
my shoulder pads are a different color. I'm like, what?
Gotta give a shout out to Rifkin for that Guy Fieri analogy. I saw that. I was like, wait, those are actually just frosted tip stalkers. It would be the next star on StarCraft Jersey Shore. No skins allowed though here.
Quite a few Adepts coming out right now. Even a couple Zealots have joined the fray. Phoenix is on the way also. There are Banelings. He's going to have to get some connections with them.
Yeah, running
nice
forward,
around.
though. Lives maybe even being used there on those Banelings, but yeah, just stopping them before they could connect.
You got to be careful. If they blow up in the air above your Adepts, they actually do the damage to them. But the Adepts starting to get some serious damage done. More Lings and Banes on the way for Solar.
Oh my god, and even starting to get in here, that Queen might fall there, does get one final inject off, and those Adepts are powering through.
Yeah, Trap really put on a clinic of this build. He's been destroying tonight with it overall. The Phoenix is flying in as well, killing off quite a few Overlords. The drone's starting to really fall. Some more Lings are coming up to help clean this up, though.
I mean, he should probably move the Phoenixes, but he's too busy macroing, building even more Adepts that will be very effective at continuing this advantage that he's making for himself. Shading now into the third base will be cleaned up finally.
Dude,
does still have these Phoenix left over.
10 drones, a bunch of Queens, a ton of Zerglings, and he has a third base behind this. Trap is in a great spot in this game. And, you know, we were talking so much about we don't know what to expect from Trap tonight. Is he going to be able to get out of this group? We haven't really seen him play. He hasn't been playing online tournaments. Well, I mean, this is going to Game 3 almost certainly. If Solar can come back from this, that would be quite a comeback indeed. Look at the damage output of these Phoenixes.
He laughs in the face of that single Spore Crawler. That is like the Spore Crawler that, trains really hard, he levels up his Pokemon, and then he actually just like walks into the wrong part of the map and dies to level 100 everything. You're like, oh, well, I guess my one Pikachu and all of the love that I have in my heart is still not enough.
Even brushed him and stuff in the new game, and it just didn't work out.
Can you do that now?
Yeah, now at the end of the battles, like I just got the new one and been playing a little bit with my daughter and stuff. It's you can like
them?
at the end of the battle you can feed them and brush them.
I mean, at some point you should just buy a cat instead, right?
Well, that would be a Meowth, is what we call it in the Pokemon world, friend.
Does your Meowth throw money at you?
I don't use Meowth. I don't really like Meowth.
Actually, in the original versions, you could run out of money because trainers wouldn't regenerate, so you'd have to keep fighting the Elite Four over and over again, unless...
Wait. There was one way... Yeah, the Elite Four you could make money.
Yeah, so that was the only way to get it.
There was a gambling game in the game, too, right?
Yeah, but if I recall correctly, the odds were like pretty bad at that.
I'm good at gambling, though.
Okay, well...
You've never seen me in the casino.
No, I've never seen you. You're like the anti-Rotterdam?
I don't know what is winning strat, but I know that I am an absolute crusher on roulette.
Okay, well, anytime you want to share some tips out there, he's got a 08 after his name. You should just throw him his way. Either way, let's actually talk about the different gambles and risks to use my most desperate attempt at a segue. Subway just makes delicious sandwiches and is what I ride every day.
You ride sandwiches?
No, Subways.
Okay.
Also, maybe Segways if I was cool enough.
Yeah.
That was not going the direction I wanted it to. Just like when you get on the subway the wrong way.
Well, at least it won't go off a cliff, right? So, Storm on the way, double forge up, which is kind of interesting. Don't see that too often in PvZ. But he's getting into a great unit composition to fight against these Hydralisks. He just really does need quite a bit of Storm. Has some Archons in there as well to suck up any Banelings that are trying to hunt him. That's a lot of Banes, though.
Yeah, that's so many.
If he can connect.
Dare I say. And now, just pulling back. Storm's on the Morphing Banelings will actually take out quite a few prematurely. Still some rolling forward, and Archon's right there to soak him up.
Okay, he just needs the Banelings not to wipe out his whole ground army. The Archons have to do the work there. But Trap seems safe for now. He's got the fourth base on the way as well. Solar is defending everything and has a fourth base. But this is, the onus is really on him to get something done, especially with this unit comp. This doesn't scale well. He's got to make it work for him.
Yeah, and that big Baneling morph was the big surprise. Just seconds determining whether or not that preemptive Storm was able to get down and take out so many of them before they were even allowed to hit, and now we start to see the compositions that both players are going for, but it certainly looks like Solars may have the edge.
Yeah, Solar's starting to walk in right now. Trap, there he is. He has his Psystorms up in the back, leads with the Archons a little bit. Some good harassment going on as well.
Man, these Zealot Warpins, really MVPs for Trap this entire series. Even though he may be down one game, those have been consistently getting him these little tiny advantages and forcing Solar to multitask like a madman.
I am liking where Trap's at. I love the addition of these Photon Cannons. That is a huge nod towards the type of composition his opponent is going with. Like, the more time that this game goes on, the more Archons are made, the more High Templars are made, and those are late game units for Trap. He's going to just get stronger and stronger. Bane Hydra, you gotta do something. So here comes Solar again, but with the cannons here, overcharges, Size Storms, Archons. I mean, everything is looking really good for Trap being able to hold this.
Wow, you could cast 5 GSLs with the army that Trap has right now. But will he be able to keep it for much longer? Solar kind of indecisive here, and he's going to lose a lot to Storms.
The Archons coming up, and the Banelings rolling in, but they are not going to be able to get anything done. Fantastic force fields as well, very much on point with those.
I mean, Solar could just sack his army to head up to the third base, or the fourth base, I guess, because there are 4 up. That would be the third one. Banelings rolling forward, get destroyed by the Archons.
All right, Trap ties it up 1-1.
Okay.
Could we get a third Protoss in that round of 16 tonight? It definitely is a possibility. He has brought out some awesome PvZ tonight. Close matches each time, though. And Solar is being pushed to his limit. This build that Trap is doing, the Glaives and the double Stargate follow-up, it is popular right now in Korea, but I love Trap's execution. He's always finding damage.
Wow, and Solar really kind of pushed to his limits. You saw that huge Baneling morph we've seen every Zerg player, even Armani doing that tonight. it's been very, very successful for the most part, but I just caught seconds before the Banelings finished, Morphing a few shaved off, and then, like you said, great defense, tons of Archons, great side storm. Trap just having everything it took to hang on there and take the win.
Yeah, you know, Banelings, they are almost like high risk, high reward in some ways. If you get those connections on their army, it just blows up. If Protoss mismicros at all, you can just win the game very easily there, but when you have force fields like that, Archons in the front, storming them as they're hatching, not a whole lot that you're going to do as Solar there.
Yeah, I mean, Banelings, they're pretty good. They're no infested Terrans, but they're still great at what they do, which in that game was die to Psy Storms a whole lot and blow up on Archons, which is unfortunately not the greatest trades you want to make.
No. I mean, if your Banelings are hitting Archons, you will lose. You can have like 9 bases against Protoss 4, and you will lose that eventually. Like, Archons are just so efficient against the Banelings. And let's not forget, of course, Solar did take a lot of damage from the early harassment of the Adepts and the Phoenixes. He lost near 15 drones in that big push, and lots of Overlords, Queens, Lings. That really got Trap into a position to win this game.
Again, even later on, those Zealot Warpins just consistently just pulling Solar back, pulling him apart, and giving Trap the time that he needed for energy to build up for Storms, more High Templars to turn into Archons, and just build that defense that ultimately won him the game.
Yeah, you know, as much as I like Solar and as storied as this guy really is, I kind of would not mind seeing more of Trap, what he's doing in the other matchups. He's been very quiet because he's been practicing really hard within the Jin Air team. You know, his future is kind of secure being on, you know, the last remaining Korean-based team where he has a house and everything paid for, coach. But, like, his form is very good. I am loving what he's doing with PVZ overall.
Yeah, and I'm just glad that we get this very special opportunity to see him play here in the GSL. I know there's a lot of sort of question marks above everybody's head. It's like, you know, where are my favorite players going to go? Where can I watch them? Well, the answer is right here, and because there are more GSLs, maybe we get a chance to see, you know, Nightmare V2 qualify for the next one, and just, you know, old players, guys like Trap, who, I mean, he had that one sort of, you know, resurgence where he was really good a couple of years ago, won that MLG and just really looked on top of his form. Looked really good towards the end of the Kespa Cup, and then right as he reaches maybe his strongest point, you know, we don't really know what's going to happen. And now here he is in the GSL, poised to advance one game away.
Yeah, it's really close, and of course this would be a big deal for Jin Air Green Wings as well. If you, the thing is, he loses here, let's say, and the thing is, they're 2 stars, really. They already made it through. SOS and Maru are already in the round of 16, but Cure getting 3rd place in his group, Trap, if he gets 3rd place as well, I feel like as Jin Air, you have to be a little bit disappointed. It's like, God, we're the one team that stayed together. Come on, guys, let's get everyone going. Let's get everyone deep.
Yeah, you got to keep putting him through. Trap 1 game away from doing just that. And for Solar, he's repping the Splice Pride, one of the few Koreans to be picked up by a foreign team. And now he has to represent them in the round of 32.
Yes.
The Korean commentators have more to say than I do, but there is definitely a lot to be said here.
Don't worry, there's daybreak at the end of this tunnel, Rapid.
Not only the map, but the game as well. Our final game of the night, guys. It's coming up. It's going to be Trap versus Solar.
Jin Air Green Wings, Trap.
He's the name of this player.
Well played.
Yeah.
I mean, you say it every time, no matter if you actually say it or not.
That's true. I already said this enough.
You even get help from the disembodied voice of Tasteless, who's also going to help us pronounce the name of his opponent.
Splice, Solar.
Okay.
All right, last game. If you got secret strats, you better pull them out now.
Well, I just like the way that Trap overall has been playing. He's just always finding some decent damage with these Adepts. Well, always in the games that he's winning, I guess. But just overall, very, very solid. And goes for a Nexus first here. He did do this previously on this map, if I recall correctly. And probably will just go into 2-gated depth from here.
Well, that has been the go-to build. It's been pretty effective. Now we've seen a lot of hatcheries blocked this time. Well, that's not going to happen. So both players get exactly the starts that they would have wanted. It'll be interesting to see, you know, given the ideal starting conditions, whether or not, you know, this is something that Solar can, you know, restabilize from. Because restabilize. I guess that is a word. I
Yeah.
just never quite thought about saying that. Either way, game 2 was definitely not the way that he wanted to have things work out. Lost so many drones early to those adepts, so this time you get one final do-over to keep that from happening.
I want to point out also, because I'm pretty sure he already did this Nexus first build on this map, but Trap has been going for pylon blocks on games where he doesn't go Nexus first. And Solar went double hatchery when no probe showed up, so that could be a response saying, I think that you're going Nexus first here again. Just little thing to maybe keep in mind. That I don't know. I love little adjustments in strategy are some of the most interesting things, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, there's a lot of micro, macro, and stuff like that, but StarCraft 2 is so much a game of choosing which branch you want strategically based on what your opponent is doing.
Yeah, very cerebral, and it's almost insane when you look at what pro gamers have done after spending, hundreds and thousands of hours to be able to eke out every little bit of an advantage off of, the tiniest bits of knowledge. It's like, oh, well, this critter only runs away from people, so I see it moving in a Q shape instead of a zigzag line, so that means he's mined 5 more minerals by now. Yeah, of course that's a little bit facetious, but the idea is still there, just getting the maximum amount of energy, trying to read every little thing for your advantage.
Yeah, the complexity is quite high, and these guys dealing with it is a beautiful thing to behold. Thank you all for joining us today for the early, I guess it's Friday night for most people watching, version of GSL Code S.
Yeah, it's going to be at this time every
Saturday, except next Saturday because it's a big holiday out here, the Lunar New Year.
That is very true.
That is the second biggest holiday in Korea, really. So we'll actually have it on, if I recall correctly, it's going to be Wednesday and Thursday.
It's going to be Wednesday and Thursday. We switched the groups around a little bit to accommodate Scarlet being at Nation Wars, which you guys should totally check out right after the GSL.
Yeah, certainly you need to do that, guys. But yeah, those will both be at the EU friendly time, which is 6:30 p.m. KST. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, Oracles.
Yep, those are units, Artosis.
Oracles, yes.
They're units we're going to see. And here they come right into 2 queens, which means we might not see them very much longer if they do keep running in that way. Either way, Spores, they're coming out, and that will keep those Oracles at bay.
Shouldn't be getting too much done. That quick third base, of course, generally going to go along with Oracle play. And we'll see where he wants to go from here. It does get that Phoenix, wants to push back Overlords, of course. Couple gates added on. Lots of safety here for Trap, who also adds a Robo, so he's just staying with basically the same builds. Like, he hasn't put a lot of variation in, which I think, because sometimes you'll see people and they have so many different builds prepared. But in a way, I like the way that Trap is going about this because he's so practiced with these. He's really finding damage and making some hard decisions to win some of these games.
Yeah, like what I was saying earlier is that if you have any secret stats, you better pull them out now. Well, sometimes it's just saying, okay, well, that strat actually worked pretty well. I just need to refine or hone a couple of things about it. And for Trap, at least, he's saying, okay, well, I am capable of executing the strategy. I know I've done it well enough to get myself to this position. Now I just have to do it well. And with a nice wall there at the front, he's going to have the opportunity to do that instead of, some of the not quite as great walls that he's been putting up in the future, or past.
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
Future, past, it's all the same. Well, I mean, those two are the opposite, but other than that, what you said, definitely correct there.
Did you watch that sick movie, Arrival?
Yes.
Okay, so I actually got given a book that I stole from you at our Christmas party, and it has a lot to say about the difference between the future and the past.
I gotta read that.
Oh my god, the book is sick. There's just some concepts that they try to explain in the movie that you just don't get the depthitude.
Yeah. It was quite a good movie. A little bit sad for my liking, but I did enjoy.
I think the book is more profound than sad. It just really expresses concepts that
That's exciting. No more spoiler.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you guys got to get out there and watch that. Watch the movie, read the book especially.
I would suggest reading the book. I actually didn't know it was a book when I went to see the movie. If
I
had,
I might have until I took it from you at the party.
Yeah.
Totally worth. Big thanks to Todd for hooking me up with that. Great book. Go read it. You guys should all be both StarCraft nerds and book nerds.
Yeah, reading's important, guys.
That's how you get real smart.
That's it. Playing StarCraft and reading books are the two This is the number 1 and number 2 ways to be smart. I'm not sure which
Somebody
order.
tries to tell you college. No.
No, it's really not.
No, it really is definitely not. I feel like both Artosis and I are examples of that in totally opposite ways.
Yeah.
Both get to the same point no matter what you do.
Well. Okay. Stay in school, guys. Stay in school.
Yeah, that is also important. That's like a distant third to the other ones we mentioned. But yeah, especially if you're going to focus on StarCraft, you better be really good, like these guys.
Indeed, indeed. Now, Storm on the way, Charge on the way. It is another Hydra Bane type style. I do want to give Solar 6 shout-outs because he basically invented this style, used it in SSL Season 1 to beat out Stats at the beginning of last year, and still one of the best players at utilizing this type of strategy.
Man, moments like this always make me so nervous because we basically just see macro, 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 and you're going to have these gigantic armies that all collide right at the perfect timing.
Ooh.
Oh my god, the sickest control!
So good.
Artosis.
Yeah, yeah.
This is where you reflexively say tasteless. And I'm like, no, man, it's actually me. That was so sick to watch. Immaculate control, clearing out some of those drones. But I mean, that's just 6 drones. At some point, you actually got to deal the real damage. Can you kill off those 2 banelings?
Yeah, well, he has to cancel this 4th base. That is okay. That doesn't mean that he loses here. Better to cancel that than to lose your army at the moment. But there's a Lurker Den on the way. And Lurker Den is going to do pretty well against this army overall. You really got to utilize a Prism and get your detection. Luckily, he does have double Oracle still, so that's going to help out against Lurkers a lot. And this is a big warp, and this is exactly the type of move you want to use against this type of aggressive play into Lurker.
Yeah, Zealots dashing right in on top of everything. Drones will ferry out successfully, but this many Zealots can deal so much damage, and there's not even enough Zerg units allocated to clear it up. Here comes a lot of the Banelings and the entire army forced to pull back for Solar.
Yeah, well, he clears everything, doesn't lose that spawning pool. That's very, very important indeed. That +1 attack helping the Zealots a lot initially. And there's a tech up right now.
Oh, no. So many Banelings all in there. He's going to catch the probes as they ferry backwards. 2 more Banelings. This could make the entire difference. They will take out 12 probes in total.
Very worthwhile, but this is a big counter harassment right there, forcing a cancel on that 5th base, keeping him down to 4 so that it is something he can continue to fight. The mothership on the way as well right now for Trap.
Oh my god, well, we've only seen one other mothership, or I guess one built twice earlier on today, and Trap was pretty good with the way those worked out. Now, he did wind up losing them somewhat carelessly at the end, but he still won, so it's all the same. This time, we get to see whether or not he's learned maybe some better execution, or if this Lurker, centric play from Solar is going to be the answer.
Great Psy Storms, a great tag there as well by those Oracles to be able to see exactly where the Lurkers are and then micro correctly against us. Some good force fields as well, helping him to escape. He's going to back up to these cannons for now, but he needs more than this against that. Oh, a big warp, and in the main base once again, the Hydra's not catching it.
Oh my god, they are going to be behind the mineral line, so in a decent spot to try to pick off some of these Zealots, but more and more harassment going down. Okay, this will actually be cleaned up much more easily, but oh, that War Prism doesn't get taken out, no.
Yeah.
He'll survive.
Big deal that it did get away. That makes the fear of the War Prism remain within him. By the way, I like that micro turning a Lurker egg from a Hydra that was about to die. Really cool. But now, I mean, this Cloak is really going to help. I only see the 1 Overseer. As long as this micro, it'll be fine. But definitely, this makes it a bit harder. And another great tag here by Trap.
Oh my god, tons of damage there from the Storm, but Solar just really trying to get into a spot that he probably doesn't want to be in. Now we're withdrawing, but with very damaged Hydras.
This is some fantastic play coming out of both sides. It feels like Trap has the advantage, though. That 4th base has gone up. He continues this harassment like it's being dealt with, but oh my god, these 2 Oracles.
The horror, avert your gaze, cover your children's eyes. That is definitely going to raise the rating of the GSL right there. So many probes going down. Okay, with so many drones going down, now the probes might follow. Oh, a nice explosion there at the end.
Yeah, a decent amount of damage still dealt. And don't forget, there's a lot of lurkers, so Trap can't just go kill Solar at the moment. This army is very hard to actually engage, but Trap has an army that's very tricky to engage here as well, with the Cloak, with a lot of Storm, and he's starting to add in quite a few Immortals as well.
Yeah, it does need to bait out the majority of those Storms. The energy regenerating. Look at all those Banelings taken out before they can even be realized. The flank opportunity coming around from behind. Solar has this chance to make his units count. Otherwise, Trap may just be able to take this home.
Very well said there. He does need to make this move count. He lost a lot to Psystorm there to get into this position, but has to pull back. He's not going to be able to take down this 4th base.
Oh, and Solar might not even be able to save his army. It's backed out into a corner. We're switching over to Solar's point of view to see what he sees.
Which is nothing. He sees, like, this is cloaked, man. He's going to lose everything.
And with that army, so dies the hopes of maybe another Splice player making it onto the round of 16. He has macroed up a decent force back at home, but that might just have been too much of a blow to deal with the Sky Toss coming his way.
I wasn't sure if the single Overseer was going to come into a big effect there, but with the direction he ran in, like, Trap jumped on him. He realized that situation was amazing for him if he got everything completely cloaked, and it definitely was a mistake by Solar, but this is not a situation you run into very often, losing a game because your one Overseer got cloaked and then the Mothership allowed the army to rip apart half of your lurkers.
Wow. Well, Solar definitely taking a big hit there and put substantially on the back foot, but not dead just yet. However, this huge, gigantic, I said Sky Toss earlier, it's basically just cloaked units under a Mothership.
Well, definitely the Mothership is the most important part of this army, no question there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no Vipers to pull it out of position.
Yeah.
Maybe not even enough anti-air to kill it once it does get pulled out of position. And Trap just being very slow, steady, looking to win this race.
This Sling counterattack is kind of neat. It looks like some Zealots will get warped in to try to stop it. Won't be able to. This should be a cancel pretty easily on this base. So that's a big deal for Solar. He needs to try to keep Trap as small as possible right now. Otherwise, it'll end up looking like the Armani game. No matter how cost-efficient you get, Trap just can't lose. But Trap continuing to try to get some harassment done, sending another new Prism over here, but he's going into carriers as well.
Wow. All right, well, the Sky Toss transition, that's an interesting thing. I expect to see only Zealots pop out and suddenly a gigantic Archon comes out of the warp. That's going to be much more difficult to clear out. You can see just every drone evacuated there. And now the tech structure is under attack. This looks all too familiar to the last game we saw this happen in. Oh, the Spire will go down. That means no Corruptors coming.
Yeah, not just that, but still there's only just a layer. You're playing against only layer tech right now, and you're making carriers. You already have a Mothership. As far, like, if you look at these armies, Traps is just better. You need more tech to fight against this, and he just doesn't have it right now.
And I feel like maybe for Zorg more so than other races, the ability to sort of micro your way to a victory, I mean, you have to leverage that in positions like this where your army is just not as good. So trying to use all these Mutalisks that were hatched right before that Spire did fall to get some sort of harassment-based advantage, but I mean, I don't think he was even able to kill a pylon there.
Yeah, not able to get anything yet. Ooh,
oh,
nice
back into the storm.
Yeah. But the one thing I do like about this play is, look, for instance, he's getting a good engagement right here, utilizing Hydras to take down Archons. Those Archons were anti-Ling at this base. He didn't want it sniped by Ling, so he sends Hydras. Good move. The Mutas are keeping Trap busy, and during all this, Solar is sitting on 5 bases. So, you know, he's trying his best to create diversions. It's just Trap already has so much built up.
Oh, he's going to lose even more Overseers. Those things are gold just because he did not have one at the end of that last fight. He lost his entire army. So now need to be more careful than ever. Those 2 Overseers.
Maybe forecasting what his ideas are about the next attack.
I mean, they will indeed be able to oversee that area because they are seeing exactly the area that they are over. I'm not sure that's the role that Mutalisks were really designed for, Artosis.
I don't get to see many Mutaverse carrier fights.
You know, I'm not actually sure who's... Okay, yeah, I am. Oh my god, you're kidding me, no!
Well, that's a heartbreaker.
Man, those super cheap interceptors, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're all right. They do some damage, I heard.
Yeah,
Not as much as a Liberator, but
I
like,
mean,
still.
well, yeah, I mean, Liberator DPS is actually just so low compared to Carrier's Artosis.
Oh, is that right?
I mean, I think I read that somewhere. Either way, unquestionable authorities aside, the push here for Trap will just be maybe too much.
Yeah. Carriers are not going to lose to this army. Like, this many carriers. Now, if you get fantastic abducts coming in, maybe you can make something happen here. But this army is just brutally scary. Look at this. He's getting Blink, by the way, which is kind of interesting.
Okay.
Huh.
No, better late than never.
I
Nice
guess-
thing to add on at the end. Okay, you're actually going to kill that hatchery.
Yeah, he's going to kill his own hatch here.
Well, he definitely knows that he needs the energy to get these abducts coming in. I think that was actually a hatchery that he did, in fact,
Yeah, he
need
did
to
kill
have.
his own hatch. The thing is, he almost doesn't even care. What he has to do is kill this army right now, and this might be his only chance.
Oh no, feedback's all over
Oh
the
my
Vipers.
God.
They'll pull in the mothership and a carrier, but in the end there might not even be enough to take those down.
There's nothing else that hits air here. And that means that we are going to have another Protoss hitting the round of 16. Trap with some absolutely awesome PVZ
Oh my
tonight.
God, as Spanish Tasteless would say. At the end of that one, we do have another
Wow.
Protoss advancing. Trap playing the games of his life.
Dude, this was great Protoss versus Zerg tonight from Trap. A lot of close series for sure, but Trap clutching it out, showing kind of his own style. Wow. These are kind of common builds, but I love every game he's getting pretty quick fleet beacon. He's getting the mothership out. Solar, on the other hand, just kind of broken at the moment. This is a guy that you can easily say, okay, I'm expecting a top 8 out of him this season, but he's out in the round of 32. That is a hard result for him to swallow.
Heartbreaking, and Solar, one of the players that does play in a lot of online leagues, does have a lot more going on, streams a decent amount as well. There will be more places to see him. The GSL will not be one of them.
Yeah, that is unfortunate, but you know what? We have a lot of GSL seasons this year, and I'm sure, without a doubt, that we will see him back. But now it's time for an interview.
Yep, we're going to head over to our interview with the Jinnar player Trap. Another Jinnar player in the round of 16. Congratulations, Trap. So how do you feel to advance this next round? So a lot of fans are here, and I just really want to thank the fans who came to the studio. I actually heard a lot of fans cheer for me in the last set that I won. So just a really huge thank you to the fans for coming out. So they're very tight matches here in the losers match, even the final match. Trap saying, I think I got actually really warmed up playing in the losers match, actually. I kind of made some mistakes with my adepts shading into some wrong positions earlier on. But I was still able to pull it out and advance.
이런 의지가 딱 보였었는데 이걸 2세트 때부터는 그래도 중후반까지 끌고 갈 자신감이 생긴 것 같더라고요. 어떠셨어요?
저는 솔직히 마음 비우고 했는데 민수가 갑자기 2세트에서 6모스를 하는 거예요. 그래서 얘가 왜라는 생각을 했어요. 그래가지고
I think I was able to play comfortably against Solar because it was my second time against him there. And when Solar went for that early cheese build, when I was able to defend that build and win that set, it actually gave me a lot of confidence going forward.
좀 심리적으로 불리한 쪽은 민수 쪽이라고 생각을 해가지고 저는 자신 있게 했어요.
3세트는 시원하게.
So the final in that third set, I think Solar got a little bit nervous. I could tell he kind of wanted to win and finish me off very quickly. So I was actually able to play a little bit more relaxed, and that gave me the advantage there.
일단 저그전은 초반에 빌드가 중요한 것 같아요. 후반전은 토스가 좋긴 한데
So I think playing against Zerg, you really have to choose the right build very early on. You have to be able to defend against the early pushes for Zerg. In the long macro game, I really feel like Protoss has the advantage over the Zerg.
중계하실 때도 이런 이야기들이 많이 나왔어요. 조성우 선수 전성기 때 잘 보여주던 이렇게 밀당 잘하는 플레이, 이렇게 찌를 듯 말 듯 이런 운영의 미학을부터 보여주는
So it seems like you're back into great shape right now. You're playing as well as you did at the peak of your career.
느낌을 받으시는지.
일단 경기력은 이렇게 썩 만족스럽진 않은데 그래도
네.
뭔가 대회를 준비할 때 약간 이기는 느낌은 뭔가 알게 되는 것 같아요.
그래요. 확실히 진에어 선수들은
So while preparing for this tournament, I won a lot of sets while I was practicing, so I really just got the feeling of winning coming into today's games.
좀 베일에 쌓여져 있는 느낌이거든요. 그래서 이번에도 어떻게 준비하셨는지 좀 궁금했어요. 평상시에 이렇게 나오시는 스타일은 아니셨으니까 어떻게
So the Janair Green Wings players are not really showing great games right now. So how did you prepare for today's games?
팀원이요? 네, 많이 도와주고.
Saying I just focused on practicing on ladder and Rogue and all of my teammates, SOS, Maru, really helped me prepare. So I really think that's the reason I was able to advance.
더 어려운 이제 적들을 만나게 될 텐데. 자, 이번 시즌
So now you're going to have to face even stronger players here in the round of 16.
잘해야죠.
네.
그렇죠. 자, 이제
So tell us about your
앞으로의
goals.
경기들 팬들께 마지막으로 한마디 부탁드릴게요.
근데 제가 조심형식을 좀 해봤는데
네.
So I've been in a few groups selections so far. So I know it doesn't really always work as well as I wanted to.
그래요?
So I'm not going to think about who I play against. I'm just going to focus on practicing. I don't even care if I go into the group of death or anything. Except I just want to avoid the Terrans like Innovation and TY.
기대하도록 하겠습니다. 고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
All right. So big thank you there to our MVP interview with Trap.
Yeah,
another Protoss to advance.
Very well spoken by him, I think. Really kind of highlighting what he thinks about going forward here.
Yeah.
Wants to avoid those Terrans. Does feel like the late game PVZ is still a little bit Protoss favored. Can't disagree, especially with the type of style he plays going into the Tempest with Psystorm, Archon, Mothership. Great play out of Trap today. I'm super impressed with him. Feel bad for Solar and Armani. These guys are actually really strong.
And that's the thing. I mean, if this were a tournament where we, handed out participation trophies, the top 32, then all of these players would get them because, oh, by the way, they're actually just so good to even be here.
Very true.
I mean, there were hundreds of players that signed up for these qualifiers, had to do them in multiple shifts, and only these players made it through. So for some players, it is a big first time, guys like Armani. So it's great to see him out here. I definitely hope to see more of him in the future, but it's going to do it for our 6th GSL group, Artosis.
That's right. Now, guys, on Wednesday, this is what you're going to want to tune into. Byun's group. This is one of the crazier groups with Byun and Stats both in it. That should be fireworks. Ryung is in reasonable shape. DRG Ling, this was one of our rookies last year where it was like, oh, this guy is kind of exciting, and then he didn't really pan out. But here he is, and still practicing hard, so I'm excited to see how he can do. He made some upsets in his group. It's not coming to my mind right now. His qualification group definitely did very well there, and glad to see him back in GSL.
And, of course, always great to see foreigners in GSL. Sasha Hostin, Scarlet, now in Nation Wars, but coming back to us here in Korea for her group in GSL, along with Myungshik, Alive, and Classic.
Yeah, Alive in top form right now, Classic as well. Myungshik is kind of the dark horse here. He did switch over, quote-unquote, to be an Overwatch pro, and I know that he's on a highly ranked Korean team, but I don't know, man.
I actually think he's looking for a team again. At least that's what he was tweeting out a couple of days ago. But actually just so good at video games that he's here in GSL as well. And I think really when it comes to that group, I mean, Classic obviously just playing super well right now. Got a chance to cast him earlier on today, and he's beating Terran players as a Protoss, so that's how you know he's good.
Yeah, and Olimo League, Alive just won, I believe, over Innovation in the finals, like 3-2. So if you can beat Innovation in a TVT right now, you might be the best player in the world. Who knows?
I mean, it's actually just so sick. And of course, the big question mark: can Scarlet make it out of a GSL group? A lot of faith, a lot of hope, a lot of fans behind her.
Yeah.
Certainly a pioneer in that regard as being a foreigner here in GSL, but a lot of pressure there, really for all players in the group.
Yeah, that's going to be a sick group indeed. Don't forget that's Thursday next week. because there is a holiday coming up. But anyways, guys, that ends it for today. Make sure you tune into the ASL Finals tomorrow. It's 5 p.m. KST, Flash versus C. Until then, thank you, Rapid, and we will see you next time.